Welcome everyone. Thank you all for finding time to attend today's Enterprise Lithuania webinar. My name is Andrius Sankauskas. I'm the commercial attaché at Lithuanian Embassy in China. Today I'm very excited because we will discuss about one of my favorite topics, e-commerce. And today's country is South Korea. South Korea is #4 economy in Asia and one of the strongest markets from global e-commerce. So today, together with our speakers, we'll look at the opportunities at this interesting market, discuss about the specifics of South Korean e-commerce, and talk about the project that Enterprise Lithuania is working on. So I encourage you to use this great possibility to open new market and receive valuable information. Today we'll have three presenters. First, Krzysztof Severin, Project Manager of E-commerce and E-Projects at Enterprise Lithuania. Second, El Victor Mamau, CEO at Koisra. And the third one, Glenn Hee-Jun Lim, Head of Sales and E-commerce platform Coupang. Before we start, as always, I encourage to ask as many questions as possible. Please leave them in comment section. After presentations, we'll have a Q&A session. And now we can begin. Krzysztof Severin, Project Manager of E-commerce and E-Projects at Enterprise Lithuania, will present information about the new e-commerce initiative that Enterprise Lithuania is planning for Lithuanian companies willing to enter into the South Korean market. So Krzysztof, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Andrius, for the introduction. Greetings to our event speakers and welcome to all the business guests who have connected to this digital event today. As you already know, the session is meant to look at the South Korean e-commerce opportunities for Lithuanian companies. The reason we decided to host this event at Enterprise Lithuania is because we want to help Lithuanian companies explore the potential in the Asian market and for us to help you enter it. We chose specifically South Korea because it is a mature e-commerce market with a growth potential. E-commerce is already actively present within the country and people feel comfortable purchasing online, while the internet connectivity remains to be on a highly advanced level. Secondly, we recognize that Korea has an interest and openness to the international goods. Thus, we believe that the European products and particularly increasing competitive products from Lithuanian brands could be an exciting option for local consumers. Thirdly, Korean e-commerce is still actively developing. There are many global strong e-commerce markets that perform well, but they have already reached their potential. We see this market as the one that is at the perfect intersection between the development stage and the uncapped growth for the brands in the digital space. So that could allow to grow your brand with it. Lastly, South Korea is officially one of the EU's 10 strategic global partners. And what does that mean? It means that EU is highly interested in further building their relations with this country and is therefore likely to bring further incentives or ease international trading in the future. Moreover, it brings a sense of stability as to the foreign relations between the two. So a bit about our product. Enterprise Lithuania is still at the research stage, but what we are hoping to build is the international e-commerce expansion project in which Enterprise Lithuania would help a selection of Lithuanian brands to enter South Korean e-commerce on the chosen platform. On the platform, Enterprise Lithuania, together with the Korean business development partner, would help to build a cohesive Lithuanian brand portfolio with individual company profiles on the platform, but cohesive design and positioning, with some specific focus on advertising positioning as Lithuanian products. So for today, we have identified some of the goals for the session. In today's event, we are hoping to bring you some clarity as to the e-commerce potential in Korea. At the same time, we want to understand your interest in the market and to see if anything has to be changed in our strategy. We also want to answer any questions that you might already have about the market and the e-commerce. Lastly, we hope that our event will help you to determine the potential specifically for your business. We will remind you of this by the end of our today's session as well, but after the event, all the participants will receive one more application form with a wider set of questions please fill out that application form if you will find a potential for your business in Korea after today's event, and if you will want us to keep you on the radar throughout the development of this project. This will be it from my side. Thank you, and I hope that you will enjoy what speakers have to present.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eyal Victor Mamo, and I am the CEO of Koisra. Koisra is a consulting firm, business development firm. What we do, we support companies, foreign companies in the local market. And today I'm going to talk about e-commerce in South Korea, about services and consumer preferences that you as a seller, as a foreign seller may, need to be aware of. And I will start. So South Korea in general, it's not too big country, but not too small to ignore. 51 million people. GDP is quite high. It's $44,000, which means there is a purchase power in Korea. People has money to buy, and they are buying. It's the 10th largest economy in the world. And 90% of the population is connected to the internet and using mobile phone, which is very, very important for e-commerce. And regarding internet speed, it's the second in the world. It's usually or the first or the second in the world. It's also very relevant for e-commerce because whatever you are selling, whatever your products look like, description, imaging, it's very accessible, very easy, very fast. So you are not get frustrated if things are getting slow. Everything is working very fast. And of course, 5G for mobile data, 40 million subscribers already. And it's growing. We are already in May 2021, so it's probably already 15 million. Korea is very connected, using heavy usage of e-commerce. So let's talk about e-commerce a little bit. So according to the official statistics, Korea is the 5th largest e-commerce market in the world. However, other numbers or other sources saying that it's the 3rd largest. Whatever size, 5th or 3rd or 4th or even 7th, it doesn't matter. It's a very big market to acknowledge and to think about if you are selling overseas, if you're using other e-commerce market like Amazon USA. So Korea is a market to consider. It's a market that's growing about 2 digits every year. And as we'll explain later, it's a very good place to sell and easy. And other topics is about logistics. So sell in Korea, you don't need to build your own logistics, and you don't need to be frustrated for the last mile delivery or other kind of vendors and logistic services, because Korea is very, very, I would say, already established, organized on this field, and that will allow you to sell and to ship very quickly within 3 days, no more, all Korea in a very low price. Another important factor is that most of the transaction made through mobile. 70% of the transactions in Korea, online transaction made through mobile. There's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is that until recently, it was very, very complicated to do transaction on PC, laptops, because Korean government required you to install too many plugins, extensions for secure, so-called, but it was not applied on mobile, and that's why purchasing on mobile become one click. And Coupang is here with us, so they even take it one step further. So once the customers connect the credit card to the account, It's the next purchase will be one click. And this is very new. So I mean, to someone who live in Korea or buy in Korea, this purchasing experience. It's a very new and good, because I know in other countries it's, of course, it's basic, but in Korea it's not. In Korea, usually if you're still buying on PC, you need to pass at least 6 steps until the purchase is confirmed and done. So moving to mobile and using Coupang platform make it much more easy and convenient. Most sales are done by marketplaces, mainly because the reason I just mentioned. The marketplaces like Coupang trying to make it much more easy, much more comfortable to make purchase, remember your preferences, remember how you buy, remember your addresses. And also they provide you with some discounts, depends on the credit cards you have. Of course, customers prefer to buy from the same place a few kind of products. Regarding cross-border e-commerce, so in 2019, it was about $3.3 billion. Over 40% is from USA. These numbers is about Koreans buying from overseas, from Amazon and other platforms. If we look about the marketplaces in South Korea, so what we see is that we see mainly 5 players. However, Coupang is quite leading the market with, in April 2021, there were about 27 million unique visitors, while the second runner and the third runner are 15.8 and 14.7. They're all selling the same kind of products, which means sellers registered their own shop on the marketplaces and selling their products. I will go to the categories and you can get idea. All right, so this is online transaction value in 2020. So this is what Koreans mainly buy. You can see that home electronic appliance and food products and cosmetics and household goods are the dominant, also fashion are the dominant. Cosmetics is increasing every year. Services, it's less related to you because it's more like a food services, transportation services, travel services, but all the rest is like it's tangible goods. So you can consider when you thinking about your products in Korean market. Regarding the seller, the how to sell in Korea. So there is a few options, as you can see. The first option is to have a local account, which means you register like your company in Korea. You run like a local company. You need to obtain e-commerce license. You need to have your own accounting firm to run your books. You need to deal with the product import, compliance, the fulfillment, and everything. You can use agents, but at the end, you behave like a local company. This model is good, and I would say like more fit for companies that already aware about their sales potential in the market. They are willing to hire local employees. They are planning to do a lot of activities and invest resources in that market, so they can go jump directly to that model, to that account. The second account is agent account, which means you source or you get your service from local agent, even agent that open your account on marketplaces like Coupang. So the account name will be your agent name. In that way, everything done through your agent. It's very similar like if you have a distributor in Korea. So that distributor buying from you the products, list them on his own stores in the marketplaces and do other things on behalf, maybe not on behalf of you, but doing under the agent name. And there is the global account, which is what we are going to talk today with Coupang, is where you as a global seller registered your account under your name, under your brand, with a document of your own home country registration. And then all the other services may be outsourced by local agents locally in Korea, depends if you want. For example, if you prefer to ship your products locally from Korea, then you first need some agent that import those products into Korea, doing the product compliance, doing the clearance, and then also fulfill the shipping to the consumer. So you will nominate agent that do it for you, but the payment that you get to your own bank account, not to the agent. So this is the difference, and this is why we recommend, when we get inquiries for clients that need help in Korea, we recommend them to use a global account, unless their character and the nature of the activities require other kind of accounts. I would like to give you an example how product page and localization look like in Korea. This is very, very important aspect when you sell in Korea. The way the products looks described and explained in Korean e-commerce are totally different than the ones you used to or see, for example, on Amazon or eBay. The level of description, the amount of images is much higher. And this is just example from Amazon, like one of the bestseller staple that you can find. So this is like the main page on the left side. On the right side, there is additional image and some text, and that's it. And it's the bestseller so far in Amazon USA. But if we're going and check similar product, simple product, right, on Coupang, for example. So this is a similar product, right, another sample, and this is just the top part of the page. And when we scroll down, it's continue like about 4 or 5 pages down. So you can see it. It's a small, because each picture is a very wide, and it's taking all the screen. But there, the seller giving explanation and focus of every detail of the product. And this is a difference, and this is about localization. It's a very important to do localization in Korea. Korean consumer feel comfortable and more, I would say, like they feel home when they buy that kind of product, because that's the way others seller do. Another aspect of when you sell in Korea is to have customer service and after sales service. So while you are selling as a global seller, you're required to provide your email address and also your phone number, which will be published on the product page. However, if you provide it of your home country, not Korean number, and you will not be able to answer in Korean, so that may be a little bit problem for you if customer service or after sales service will be requested. Need to understand is that in Korea, it's very common for consumers to make a phone calls before they buy. Despite the fact that, as I mentioned, a lot of informative product page, they still contact the sellers to make sure about things. And even if they got and they received the product, they may call for small things that in other countries, usually you get ignored. I mean, you're ignoring like a small scratch on the box outside. Some customers will say, oh, we would like to replace it. So those kind of inquiries are not going to Coupang. Those inquiries not going to the platform. Like, for example, Amazon service, when you have a problem, you call Amazon. They call to the seller itself. So it's very recommended to have that sourcing locally in Korea in the local time. And also need to be aware, because it's very related about cancellation, refund policy, and product return. So in Korea, like in other countries, in e-commerce transactions, if you buy a product within 7 days, you can return it, you can cancel it and get refund for any reason. Within 30 days, if it doesn't match the description. So think about it. Someone bought the product, and after 20 days, he decided that he wants to review the terms or review the description, and he found and this is a real example, case study, found that the terminology you use is different than on the product, it's a reason to refund. So you can know we use different language, it's the same. He has the right to get it right and get refund for the cancellation and refund for that. And of course, there's others, other terms. So it's important for you if you don't want to be removed from marketplaces in Korea. The thing is like that, Coupang or other marketplaces, if they will get complaint, they will get involved and then they will try to understand. But at the end, if the law is on the side of the consumer, even Coupang has not much options because the customer agency may push Coupang to remove you from the market if you are not compliant. Doesn't matter that you're a global seller because the buyers is in Korea. So just need to be aware of that. Local address is important for product return. There are some global sellers that sharing that their return policy is like sending on the buyer cost to other countries, let's say USA, China, but the cost is so expensive. So what happened is that those buyers, those consumers are hesitating to purchase from your shop. So if they did that, they will give you bad review saying that, oh, these sellers forced me to ship on my own cost. It costs about 60 euro just to ship it. And it's make no sense. So you will get bad review. And bad review on product page is one of the worst things you want to have because not only you're a global seller, you get bad reviews. So it kind of can really kill your product, your presence in the market. So let's talk about consumer preferences. So most of them paying by credit card, and before they buy, they check several websites and they're checking reviews. I just mentioned about reviews. So checking reviews is very important. So it's good that you have reviews on the product page, but also if you can maintain social media, Facebook working very strong, Instagram working very strong. There is other local social accounts, but if you focus well on Instagram and Facebook in Korean language, it can be good enough. Also for paid marketing through the system of Facebook. So you don't need to hire local marketing unless you want to target locally on the local platforms. And then you probably need to hire local marketing firm. Brand reputation. So your story is very important. What you are selling. If you remember the product page that I show, like all the description and all many images, they're trying to build like the story and why their product is so unique, why the product is so it's good for you to buy. So build a story. Korean have a good, European and American product enjoy good reputation in general. So if you build a story on the top of that, like for example, the history of the factory, how it's built, even share photos like of the factory, of the line of the production, all of this giving like more the feeling that you are good sellers and or not just a trader, like a real direct sellers, and they will feel more comfortable and trust in your product. Price. So pricing is not that, it's not AliExpress. We are not dealing now with Chinese platform. It's not about price here. In Korea, Korean will pay extra 20%, even 30% more if they feel your product present quality, if your product has a good reviews, if the product enjoy good marketing in the local market, they will pay the extra needed. That's not a problem. That's not the price is not the issue in Korea. Shipping, the common logistic in Korea is up to 3 days. Usually in Seoul metropolitan is up to 2 days without a special fast shipping. So regular shipping that you will enjoy let's say you ship your product to Korea and store it in Korea, regular shipping will be within 2 days around Seoul and 3 days other parts of Korea. Of course, there is even 1 day shipping. This is cost a little bit more, but in most cases, you will not need that. And this is what's unique about Korea, unlike other countries. Naver.com is Google of Korea. This is where people search, and let's say you have your own brand, and you want to make sure that people are, when they search your brand in Korean or even in English, they will see some results, and they do that. They want to check blogs, they want to check other places that are talking about you. So this is a place to be. In order to be there, you need to hire local agent, whether marketing agent or other consultancy firm, to advise you how to be presented in that kind of platform. It's a kind of a mix of search engine, but also as a portal. I'm inviting you to check naver.com and even just write your own brand. See if maybe someone bought it from overseas. Maybe they wrote about it, and then you will get a better understanding. So let's talk more about fulfillment and storage in Korea. This is relevant if you want to ship your product and store them in Korea. So as a global seller, if we are focusing on a global seller, it's not mandatory. Technically, you can ship your product if you got a sale, you got a sale order. You can ship your product from Lithuania, from other places, other storage fulfillment in Europe to Korea. That's fine, there's no problem. The only issue is about the timing, because if you check Coupang, the product pages, it's marked when the shipping, when the product is going to be arrived. Most of the products in Korea, because in Korea in general it's 2 or 3 days, if you see someone that is more than 3 days, like a 7, 10 days, Korean consumer kind of looking for other alternatives. They want to get it fast. It's a culture also. And by the way, talking about culture, that's the reason Coupang also, one of the reasons Coupang established, because they thought 2 or 3 days, it's too slow. So they build their own infrastructure, their own warehouse to make it even 1 day. So that's the level. And when consumers coming to Coupang, they usually want to get it right away. So that's why it's if product fit, it's recommended to store it in Korea and ship it within Korea. So when we're talking about storage and fulfillment, so most marketplaces like Coupang, they don't provide their own in-house, like Amazon, for example. They don't provide their own fulfillment and customer service like Amazon. So you need to outsource it by local vendor. There is enough vendors, depends what is your product, whether you need a cold refrige shipping, whether you need a special packaging. There is vendors for almost any kind of needs that you may have. Unfortunately, most of the vendors, they don't speak English. Even if you contact them by their website, most cases they will not answer to you. So that's why Coupang by themselves also open kind of a pool of vendors and service providers like ourselves. We also provide that to help foreign sellers to navigate the market. So just as example, in many cases we provide the fulfillment and the service to our clients, but in other cases we use our vendors, because the product need a specification, they need more like additional layers of service or special packaging. So this is fine, and this is something that explained to the client, and we help in that. As I say, special delivery, sensitive items required cold or frozen storage. When you work in that way, which means shipping your products to Korea, need to give attention and need to understand that product compliance and labeling is required, and some categories need a special license. For example, food or cosmetics. So as example, we have a food import license. So if you have a food product, we can import on behalf of you, so-called importer of record. But however, if you need, if you have your product is a cosmetics product, so we don't have a cosmetic import license, but we work with other associate vendors that all they do is just import for you the cosmetic products into Korea. And once it's arrived to the port, other agent take care of clearance and move it to the fulfillment center or other things that you want to do with that. There is some products like electronics product or baby product, you have a local standards that you can sell it if you don't pass the standard. Some of the standards are cheap. Some of them, because Europe and Korea sign on FTA, and some of the, I would say like the institutes recognize the certificate of each other. This is something you need to check locally in Lithuania. Which body, if your, let's say, for example, electronic, a European certificate is recognized in Europe, what documents you need for the export. Of course, we can guide you in the process, but in general, some products apply, some still you need. I will give you an example. If you are a food product and you have like an organic certificate, European organic certificate, that's fine. It's recognized in Korea and the product can be marked as organic. This is only applied to American and European organic product. Any other countries, you need to pass a very expensive product when you need to invite the Organic Association from Korea to your home country to inspect all the process. So only European so far and American a manufacturer or producer of organic product enjoy that. So this is just one example. Trademark is very, very important. I think it's one of, it was not that important, like let's say 20 years ago, but now it's one of the important thing, especially when you deal with consumer product. You need to check your trademark, whether it's registered or where there is a similar names. Of course, we can help in that, or your lawyer in your own country will do that, but the best is to do with local lawyers because they are searching not just in English, they're also searching in the Korean language, similar tonation and the sound. Sometimes the sound will be the same, even if the text will be totally different. Still, if the sound is the same, you are in your problem. You can't really, I mean, you can sell, but you may get kind of claim to remove. And Coupang or other platforms, they are very natural on that. I mean, they don't really here to, they will just remove in most cases because they don't want to take any responsibility, and they will let you know, figure out this issue, come back to us with a verdict from the court or other body. Regarding when you use a local importer like your agent to bring the product into Korea, when label is needed, so the importer name will be on the label. It's a Korean label. So why it's important to mention? Because sometimes some brands doesn't want that. They want their product to be not mentioning any third party involved in the process, because that sticker is going to be on the product. And if we're talking about cosmetic or food product, it's a really sticker in the main area of the product. In that case, there is nothing to do. I mean, that's the regulation. You need to put the importer name, also the importer address and contact number. In addition, you can put also your name as a seller, but as like a manufacturer, but this is what it is. So for seller that really want to be local and their label be only their name, the only option is to register a local company, and that company will be the importer. So you need to evaluate what is best for you. Regarding export documentation, so this is nothing unique. I believe you export to many other countries. So the most important is a commercial invoice, packing list, certificates. Some of them need to be shipped together with the goods. Origin declaration for enjoying reduced or zero tariff rate, especially when you are from Europe. And bill of landing, which is or air bill if we are sending that by air, That's the basic. There is others may need or may not need, but and for that those documentation, your importer agent, the one who imports your product, will guide you on the process. If you sell in Korea, and this is only related to if you ship your product into Korea, so first your importer, your agent, they pay duty tax if applied. If not, so it will be zero or very reduced one, and also 10% VAT. But this is one level. The next level is when the product is sold to Korean consumer in Korea. So in that case, according to the law, you need to collect 10% VAT. In Korea, the VAT is 10% of the product price. So when you set the price on Coupang system, on Coupang platform, your product price, like in Europe, the price is including the VAT. So for example, if your product price is 10, let's say 10 euro, just for example, so 1 euro will need to be collected aside, put aside, and to be paid to the Korean VAT office. For that, you need to nominate local tax manager. It's a local agent, again, another agent. It can be a company like us, or lawyer, or CPA. It depends, whatever it's convenient for you. And that agent will be communicate with the tax office, report the amount of sales, and also instruct you how to transfer the money. Right now, Coupang is not involved in that. Coupang and other marketplaces not involved. Maybe in the future, when the number of transactions with global seller will increase, they may be requested by tax office to hold that 10% until you pay and then release it, like happening in Amazon, for example. But if you ship it from outside, of course, no VAT applied, and you don't need to pay 10%. Regarding buyers, local Korean buyers, if they buy from overseas, like let's say you ship it from Lithuania, they will not pay any duty, any VAT up to $150 value. It's considered as a personal use. Just be aware that for US goods, like if they're buying from Amazon USA, it's $200. Why? Because during the FTA, the agreement, the US request to increase from 150 to 200 to boost the sales on Amazon and other sellers in the USA. And yeah, that's the situation. Okay, I think this is the last slide where I'm giving you some recommendation, which I found important for you to consider if you want to do the market entry to Korea through e-commerce. So first, it's important, like whether e-commerce or not, is to doing market study. When I said market study, is like understanding what is the price, how others sells, how their products look like. So that will give you a lot. I mean, you need to see if you are competing with someone, or you know what, even checking if someone's selling your own product. That's one of the things that we get all the time. We think we saw someone posting our product, and there are many cases like that. What they do, if you're selling on some platforms, they're buying in a big quantity and then selling it in Korea, and in a much more expensive, sometimes double and triple the price, the retail price. Localization review. This is one of the recommendations, is check how similar products like you, which has a many recommendation and they are selling very well, what they do, what is the key points that they are mentioning or they're focusing. You can learn a lot just by that. So top seller, they're doing a lot of promotion and activities in other platforms outside Coupang. Of course, you can't do it by yourself. You need to local consultancy firm or agent to check and read and see whether they're doing promotional events, whether they are issuing coupon, special coupon in other platform. So you can use on Coupang or other marketplaces. So all of that kind of things, it's good to check and see. Social media marketing, nothing unique. Instagram and Facebook is strong. Naver blog is a Korean blogging system under the Naver, as I mentioned before. It's good to run some kind of articles, some kind of reviews by others writing about you. And also you can own your own blog writing about you. Because when people searching on Naver about your product name, this is what they see. They don't see website in the beginning. They don't see the shopping malls, the store. They're seeing blogs for the first. So this is the way Naver behave, and it's good to be shown on the results. As I mentioned before, build your own story. Give good story, give a photos, your history, your family history, if it's a family business, the reputation, if you have celebs in Europe and USA or your own country using that, and you can use those photos and share, do it. Korean want to see that, and they will find more comfortable to buy your product. Events, whether online, whether offline, please feel free to do that. And of course, local agents can help to do it. As I mentioned, local address and phone number is very important to customer service. It's not mandatory, but if you really believe in that kind of aspect, so something to consider. And yeah, that's it. That's it from my side. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. Thank you very much.
You listened to the presentation of El Victor Mamao, who is the founder of CR of Koistra, which is a Korean-based business development and consulting firm, which helps foreign companies to enter to the Korean market. So I encourage you, if you have any inquiries, you can directly connect with El, and he will help you to enter to this market. Once again, I encourage you to ask questions and to use the possibility. We have one question for Glenn and El, probably. Hello, thank you for the presentation. As Coupang has so many different items, how to make our product more easy to be found on Coupang? What kind of options do you have for product promotions?
Yeah, I guess the question is for me. So Coupang basically prefers the customers to search for these specific items. So I think it is really important to upload the item with the correct keywords. So you can type in the keyword related to that product. So when the customer search for that item, then that appears. But since most of the customers, they search it through Korean, I think the local support will be needed in this part. And also about the Global Day promotion, actually this will really help increase the awareness of the seller and the product. Because, for example, if the Lithuanian seller starts to list a product which is really unique in Korea through this promotion, then this will be the chance for the Korean customers to see this product and to understand what kind of product there are. So through these kind of promotions, even though the promotion ends, there will be continuous purchase customers who will be aware of those kind of products and who will search for those products. And this will be the beginning of how the brand awareness increases in Korea. So I really strongly recommend you to participate to these kind of promotions, and I can help you out.
Glenn, I would like to ask you about this promotions. Can companies do their individual advertising? I mean, like to buy advertising in a platform?
Yes, we do have a Coupang Media Group, which we call CMG. And actually this CMG team is in charge of those advertisements and those different marketing activities. But in order for me to give detailed information, actually, I also have to check out with that CMG team since they have their own role on arranging those kind of advertisements. So if the seller starts selling in Coupang, and if you are curious about those paid advertisement activities, then you can reach out to me and I can like help, support, and check those kind of information for you.
Also, it's interesting for me about the payment solutions. Let's say a Lithuanian company with a partner sells products in a Coupang platform, and finally it is being received money from a final customers in a local currency, right? And how they will get back this amount of money?
So yeah, I assume the question is about the settlement. So we pay the sellers every month, and this payment, this charge goes every 15th of every month. So for example, like if it is June 15th today, then Coupang pays the sellers for the 1 month amount of May, sales of 1 month, which was for May. And since we are receiving the bank statement and all the information about the local bank, we just directly send the money to the local bank so that the sellers can receive it in their country.
So for this purpose, you don't need to have a local bank account in South Korea.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the onboarding document is because of this process. We are just directly sending the money to the seller's country.
Okay. So I think it's very important for everyone. We have another question. I believe it is for El. Hello. How can we check the duty rates on products? For example, we want to know the duty rates for unrefined sugar to enter to South Korea.
Okay, so regarding that kind of question specific for refined sugar or unrefined sugar or other products, food or not food. So the first thing to start with is if the factory, the manufacturer know the HS code number. If they know the HS code number, they can go to Korean custom office website. It's in English. They can input the HS code that they export. They know. And they can see the tariff rate for exporting to Korea. Other option is to check locally with the export agency in Korea, in Lithuania, and checking regarding whether there is a zero tariff rate, because there is FTA between Europe and Korea. Of course, when they do I would say like specifically in our part for Koistra, when we do product compliance, we also check about that, but not just this, not just HS code. Sometimes the HS code is different. Sometimes there's a few, especially the last 4 digits are a little bit different in Korea, and there is like a subcategories. But since between Europe and Korea there's FTA, they already iron most of the categories. So it's better to check in Lithuania side, but if not, in the Korean custom office website in English, it's available. It's easy to check.
Thank you so much. El, also wanted to ask you, could you elaborate a little bit about the certificates and the process of receiving the certificates? And is it difficult? Is it bureaucratical procedures? Just for importance to understand.
Yeah, so bureaucratic it is. Korea is a little bit bureaucratic countries. Many documents, mostly in Korean languages. So you need someone, if we're talking about just for example on KC, so you need someone that help you to discuss with the local agent at KC and on the agency that issued that certificate, and someone to communicate with them and to help you to pass the process. You can get KC or other certificate under your factory, under your company, not under your importer. So this is important to understand because we got some inquiries from foreign companies saying, hey, our importers say that they only can be registered under the importer name, but we want the certificate to be on the product or under our name. So if we change the importer, there will be no problem. So the answer is that most cases, the certificate can be registered on the product or the factory, the manufacturer itself. So it's not easy. They don't speak English, most of them. Documents are in Korean. So someone needs to help.
Thank you for your answer. I also wanted to ask you, you mentioned about trademark. Here in China, we have a quite complicated process that who first register the trademark that owns it. What is the situation in South Korea? You mentioned that it's very important to register it.
Yes, definitely. So Korea following the international covenant regarding trademark registration, and also they have their own local law regarding registration, which is similar to, I would say, like more close in mind to the US Trademark Act. In that case is that they are checking the trademark itself, the sound of it, and other character of the trademark that registered. And if there is a previous registration, in that case, what you will do is like you have technically two options. The first option is to register and see if the local trademark office will accept it, despite the fact that there is a similar in the same class, for example, already registered. The other option is to invalidate the local one or the other one for many reasons. For example, there is other reason. It's all legal reasons. For example, that trademark holder, they don't sell any products. So according to the Korean regulation, if you don't sell product, your trademark can be invalidated and be removed. And there is other reasons. For example, if your name, your trademark is known in Europe or known in other countries, yet not registered, still it can be, by this reason, of course, it's a process, you can invalidate other. So just to give example, if someone registered Starbucks in Korea and Starbucks not yet registered in Korea, so it will be much easier to invalidate, even if they never registered before in Korea, because it's a well-known trademark. But this is that's the law. This is how the trademark law interpreted in Korea. So need to be checked, very sensitive matters. We saw recently, we start to see like kind of companies doing business out of that. So what they do is if they see product new in the market, they are searching, they are kind of like a screening and see if there is a trademark registered in Korea. And they let the owner know and tell him, hey, we will take care of that. We will sue or we will ask police to be involved. So funny how it's sound. We had personal experience with e-commerce product sold only on e-commerce. And we got investigation by police saying you are using trademark of other company, despite the fact that when we got notice, we removed the product, but still police came and investigated us. So it doesn't happen in other countries because usually police involved only if you are selling fake products, not if you are selling similar sound name like other trademark, which is questionable. Court need to decide about it, not police. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to be very sensitive. There is a statutory penalties that if police officer, which has no legal knowledge about trademark, decide that you infringement the trademark, you can pay like up to $50,000 without damage. So that's those kind of things we recommended to do clearance by local lawyer who can read Korean and can write Korean and check. And then according to that review, decide what to do. Some clients decided that anyhow, their trademark or their brand is not known yet in Korea. So they just changed the name. So they are selling in Korea with a different name in order to avoid all the complication, because it takes time to invalidate other trademark or even to register it up to 1 year. So in order to bypass that, they just change the name, change the packaging, and start with their own new name. But it depends case by case, each company.
So it seems very important to register a trademark by ourselves.
Sorry to cut you, Andres. If the trademark clearance, there was no similar name, so you can start without registration.
Okay, so it's not obligatory to have it.
Yeah, and also for Coupang, we don't have any steps on checking those trademarks as well.
Okay, so and it takes around 1 year to finalize.
Up to 1 year, yes, up to 1 year.
Okay, so we have another question. In case a product produced in Lithuania was made of ingredients originating not from EU countries, can we still apply for a preferential treatment at the customs, or would we have to pay the MFN duty fee?
Okay, so this is very much, there is a specifics in the FTA agreement between EU and Korea regarding that. So need to be checked locally in Lithuania, specifically, or the office that deal with FTA regarding the specific product. What is the percentage? Because of course, many of products are built or processed in Lithuania based on raw materials coming from outside. And then it's still considered as a European or Lithuanian product, and there is no problem. The question is the process and the percentage. And I can't answer specific on that because I don't have the specific knowledge about that specific product. Need to be checked. Actually, the best answer can be provided locally in Lithuania or in the custom office in Korea once they know what product it is, what HS code. And then I can give you example. We deal just now with a sauces, American product shipped from the States, but the ingredient of the sauces is from China, most of the ingredient. So after evaluation, we found that the Korean custom office not accepting that as an American product, and full tax need to be applied because the FTA is not recognized. So it's need to be checked,
So I believe my suggestion is to contact Eyal directly, and then he will help to figure out all the details. Also, Eyal, could you share the website address of customs?
Yes, definitely. I will send it by follow-up. You want me to send now on the chat, or you want me to as a follow-up?
You can do both, actually, if it is possible. So we will write it in a chat also for the viewers.
Definitely. So I will yeah, I will do it. I will do it, and I will write it in the chat. So.
Yes. So while Elle is writing the website, also I would like to ask Glenn regarding the e-commerce process in South Korea. So in a very short way, how I understand you have accredited partners, or anyone can open a shop in your platform. How does it work?
So yeah, we have a guideline for local sellers and global sellers. And the biggest guideline and biggest condition will be the business license number. So we allow the sellers to open the account per business license number. So if one company have business license numbers, then they can create an account for 1 or 2 or even 3. But if it's overseas business license number, then it will be registered as a global seller. And if it's a domestic business license number, then it will be considered as a local seller. So that will be the difference.
Okay, so if it is a private person, he or she can't open a shop in your platform.
No, we also accept sole proprietors, because like sole proprietors also have their own business license number, and they also have the business license documents that can be submitted. So yeah, it also goes to the private sellers.
Okay, understood. So I can see that we don't have...
Sorry, Andres. Can I also add on top of Glenn's response? Since we are building this project together with Enterprise Lithuania and e-commerce in South Korea to expand Lithuanian presence there, part of assistance for entering the e-commerce platform with documentation as well as mutual marketing campaign would also be assistance from our side. So you would just get additional information about this also after the meeting.
Great, great. Thank you so much for the speakers. I see that we don't have questions. Okay. So I hope that this session helped you to get better understanding about the South Korean e-commerce market. And shortly after the event, as Krzysztof mentioned, he will send you a new registration form. Please fill it in if you are interested in the project, what they are planning to arrange. And you will be able to continue the communication already with Krzysztof directly. Thank you all for participating in today's webinar. We hope that it was interesting for you and the information was useful. Thank you once again, and most importantly, stay healthy.